And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary.
How y'all doing? I'm Joshua Wiley, and welcome to Loud Cry. Son of man, I've set thee a watchman for the house of Israel. Therefore you shall hear a word from my mouth. Warn them for me. This show, we're going to be dealing with Judgment Day. Judgment Day. And how much is it really on our mind? You know, is Judgment Day just for the church? Is it something that is far off in the distance? Or is it personal and alive for you? Beloved, you'll hear me say all the time, no one likes to be deceived. But are you deceiving yourself? Are you deceiving yourself? I believe we spend so much time worrying about being deceived by this person and that person and this minister and that minister when we're the ones that we need to worry about. Many of us don't look at our lives with honest eyes, with honest eyes. Many of us don't look at our characters with honest eyes. You know, we can always see somebody else's flaws and characters easy, but we can never seem to see our own. Judgment, the forgotten judgment. You know, what makes Judgment Day so critical? Or why is it so important in your life? As a little kid growing up, can y'all imagine that I wasn't that good? Okay, all right. And, you know, when I knew moms wasn't at home, I knew I had free range to do whatever I wanted to do until I knew she was about to come home. And before and usually I'm caught up doing so much bad stuff that I'll wait too late and I couldn't clean up all my mess in time and things of that nature. And I would get caught, and I would get caught. Well, that's the same way with judgment and with God. If the devil can have you keep your mind off of judgment, you'll be running around your life, worrying about the new car you want to get, worrying about your clothes, worrying about your new boyfriend, your new girlfriend, worrying about all these cares of the world. And when you look up and you see that God is coming, it might be too late to get it all together. But my sister, my sister wasn't like me at all, She knew moms was coming home. She had already have everything cleaned up. I was ahead of time. And usually might have to go back and clean up after me because I'm damaging what she done cleaned up, So, but when mom go home, she'd never get in trouble. Beloved, I've learned through time that that's how we should be with God. The devil wants us to wait to the final hour or inches right before God come, before we try and get right. Isn't that the parable of the 10 virgins? It says all of them slept in slumber. Beloved, I believe that the five wise could sleep because they already were prepared. They already had cleaned up the house. They didn't have to worry about the house being dirty when mom came home. And the 5 foolish were foolish enough to go to sleep when they should have been cleaning up the house. You see the difference? Well, that's how the devil wants to keep us with judgment. He'd rather keep us entertained. Now, let's look at that word entertainment. And I stress this one. Let's really break apart this word entertainment. You have entertainment. Enter. Something enters you. Then you have tain, which is the root word of taint, to mean to disform or to misfigure, or how we should say, to misform. We'll say that. You have enter, something enters you, something taints you, something disfigures you, and mint means to hold in possession. So entertainment, something enters you, it taints you, and it holds you in possession. But beloved, why is it holding you in possession? What is it keeping you from? It's keeping you from cleaning your house. It's keeping you from cleaning your house. Have you noticed that's why there's so many different forms of entertainment? I mean, you watching us on TV right now and you're looking at a form of entertainment. But it's all right if it's done for God's glory or if it's for the betterment of your soul. Beloved, let's take a look at judgment. And how much are we really paying attention to judgment? You know, if my mind was on judgment, honestly, if my mind was on judgment and judgment day and having to answer to God, then I would watch how I walk. I would watch how I talk. I would watch the things I do. I would watch all my bad habits, of which I got many. Every day I would try to get rid of something else. My walk with God should be a progression. If you are the same with God as you was 5 years ago, something's wrong. The devil might have you entertained. If you are the same, if your relationship is the same with God as it was a year ago, something might be wrong. The devil might have you too entertained. He might be holding you in possession, keeping you from cleaning the house before God gets home. Beloved, this is a serious matter. And I don't know about you. I ain't trying to face God in judgment. You know, some people want to act tough and run around here and, I don't care. I've heard musicians even back in the day say, yeah, I'd rather go to the other place. I don't want to go to heaven and all that. I'm like, you saying that now? You be the main one, the loudest one screaming, but I'm going to be honest and real with you. I'd rather get my act together now. What's really worth holding on to in this world? Beloved, let's take a walk. And let's look with honest eyes and see if our minds are really on judgment.
Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And he said unto them, Defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth, and slew in the city. And it came to pass, while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face, and cried, and said, Ah, Lord God, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel, in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem?
The reason why people don't think about Judgment Day is because of life. They have allowed the pressures of life, trying to get ahead, maintaining and keeping your family together, work, entertainment. All these avenues play a major part in the reason why people don't think about Judgment Day. And plus, too, some people are not even aware that there is a Judgment Day that's coming. So they get caught up in their busy life because they were never taught or told about Christ and his soon coming. And so they're not aware of it. It may go back 4 or 5 generations where they have no clue about the Lord. It may be that they were so caught up into their own thing that they know about the Lord, but they don't have time to think about everything. They don't look that far ahead. They only look at the immediate future, not the full future of what's going to happen in the next 20, 50, 30 years from now. And if they do think about it, they think about it in this world, not in the world to come. Some people don't even believe that there is a God or a judgment day that's going to take place. So that'd be the reason too. So there's various reasons why. But the main one is that Satan puts so many devices in front of them, they don't have time to consider Judgment Day.
Why do you think Christians are living like, like the judgment is coming?
I think they're afraid. They're not really. Only the good Lord up above knows exactly when he's gonna come. So
Exactly.
no one really knows for sure. So they're still doing their own little thing.
Exactly.
Living the way they want to live. But
there's many things going on in the world today. Many distractions, many temptations. You got sex, you got drugs, you got alcohol, you got work, you got family. These are all distractions in your life that Satan is using to bind up the children of God, to make you think that Judgment Day is not coming. But as sure as I'm standing here, as sure as you see my face, as sure as you hear these words, Judgment Day is coming. Everybody is going to have to face God one way or another.
So do you ever think about God's judgment?
Yes, all the time. I always do. And right now in these last days and things is going on, man, we really got to come together. These times that are harsh, especially with war, economy, things that are going on that's around us. We just got to be aware of what's going on, actually, here on the earth, and then also, be able to talk about this on the spiritual side of things too.
I'm Jasmine. This is Hayla. I'm Michaela. I'm Jillian. I'm Lauren.
Do y'all ever think about Judgment Day?
Yeah.
You think about Judgment Day? Do you think it's a good thing to think about Judgment Day?
Kinda. No. Really.
No. Well, explain it, and you can be honest with me. Go ahead and be honest.
I think it's kinda good because we never know when it's going to happen, so we have to try to think about it a lot and try to understand it and try to do our best to try to make it.
Yes. Go ahead, Jess.
Well, I think it's good to know what's coming and to understand what's going on and know your surroundings, but I don't think it's a good idea to obsess about it. It's coming, there's not much you can do about it except for, try and live for God and do what you can.
Do y'all think more kids should know about Judgment Day coming?
Yeah.
I can tell you that through experience because, like I said, I was one of those people. I was just clubbing all the time, having fun, and I thought since I was a good person, I could still go to heaven no matter what. But when I really got into the Word and started reading more, and I'm not done with it, I still got a lot to learn. I still see the flaws in my character. I see filthiness, and I'm still praying about those things. But I'm getting stronger and not weaker. And a lot of people they don't focus on judgment because they don't understand, as we know now, what you're doing. Ain't no guarantee you're gonna be here the next minute, the next moment, the next day. But they think that. They think they're gonna wake up in the morning, even though they've seen death, they've seen a loved one suffer, they've seen a best friend die, and they have this funeral, and the next thing you know, oh, they're looking down upon us, they're in a better place. Well, what's that better place, I ask you? They're looking down on you. Who said that? It's a plain and simple fact that while you're doing what you're doing, having fun as they call, getting caught up in the world even more, just being a heathen, wilding out, whatever it may be, with no goodness, you're in dark, you're not in light. They don't know that very moment they could die. They could be gone. And I know that one of the last thoughts of a dying man and a dying woman, one of the last thoughts they think is, oh my God. Oh my God. They scream it in pain. They scream it right before something bad happens. Oh my God. But now you're screaming out to him and he don't hear you. He took your protection was taken off you a long time ago. You wanted to do what you wanted to do, and now you're calling my name. That's why people's minds are not on judgment. They haven't getting hit with reality strong enough. When they get hit with reality and the truth, the light, once they figure out that, they'll think about it a lot more.
I believe that people don't think about Judgment Day or aren't worried about it because most of them aren't even taught about Judgment Day anymore. Most churches and most religious organizations are preaching all about the grace and love of God, which is wonderful, but they're failing to prepare people for the end of time, which requires a judgment, because that's what we're told allows Christ to make the final decision and then come back for us. And if they're not taught it, then they're not thinking about it.
The things of this world keeps them very occupied, and everything seems to be fine, especially in America. We have more than we need, and we enjoy the best things in life. So therefore, there's no judgment as far as they're concerned. Well, normally, when things are bad in our lives, we tend to, how should I say, we tend to look down, look up, because we have nowhere else to go. When things are good, though, we tend to just enjoy the benefits. I mean, if you look at the world, everybody's suffering except America. Even though things are not as great as America as it was like 5-10 years ago, it's still great. I mean, look at us today. We're picnicking.
Right.
You know, people are down there. We're having a picnic. That's even we. Our mind sometimes not on Judgment Day. Our mind is more on what we're gonna do tomorrow. You know, we know Christ is coming, but what we're gonna do tomorrow, because we think we have a lot of time, and really we have no time.
This is not no storybook nursery rhyme talk. This is gym locker room talk, okay? Because people are dying and souls are being captured and gonna burn in eternal hell forever or live in paradise with Jesus Christ forever. Which one are you gonna choose? You need to choose ye this day in whom you are gonna serve, because you can't serve two masters, period.
Then said he unto me, The iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, The Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. And as for me also, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head.
How y'all doing? The Forgotten Judgment. The Forgotten Judgment. I'm Joshua Wiley.
I'm Andre Evans.
I'm William Soto.
And today we're dealing with, I like to call it the Forgotten Judgment, because I see we're living our lives and we're going day to day, but it's judgment, should I say, is facing the judgment seat of God. Is that really on our minds today? Is that really on our minds today?
I would say that it's on our minds, but I think the church should do a better job of getting it out to the people, because it has lost its importance in the church today as far as the fierceness of this judgment and the reality that we all will face it.
Great point, great point.
You know, it's true that we need to get it to the church. We need to get the church outside into the world.
Amen.
And that is
Amen.
each individual that knows about this. See, we're not doing our part as individuals. And go outside and talk to folks about this. I mean, this week, I just talked to an older lady, and you said the forgotten judgment. I think it's about forgotten lives or lies. See, what it is, people don't want to believe that this is coming. They want to hide themselves into everything in this world so that they don't have to face this.
So it's basically like you say, out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Is what they're trying to pull. You know, you brought out a great point. You know, another word for Christian to me is spiritual guardian. So basically, it's like, are we being the guardians of the people that we're called to be, or have we caused them to forget about judgment? You know, two great questions: is it being taught, or are we, as spiritual guardians, the ones who are causing the people to forget about judgment?
Reminded of a passage of scripture that tells us, let not every man look on his own things, but let every man also look on the thing of others. So I also believe that this firmly pertains to the gospel. If we have this light in us and this key truth of the judgment. It is our responsibility to get this to the people that may be lost, because it literally is the difference between a spiritual life and death.
Right. You know what? The thought just hit me. If Judgment Day is always on my mind and in my life personally, you know, it affects the way I walk, talk, what I drink, eat, the way I sleep, how much time I sleep. You know, if my children see that judgment is key in my life, I believe that will be more of a witness to others than anything. So I guess what I'm saying is, does judgment being key start with us personally?
That's the way it's supposed to be. But, you know, Josh, I can't keep that in my mind. I can't keep it in my life if I don't spend time with the Word.
Amen.
You know, the first thing that I do is get up and study the Word, because if I don't, if I put it, I'll do it in a few minutes. Those times are not coming. And I get so busy.
Yeah. And so it's like you're basically saying, as long as judgment is key, you know, I need to be right here. You know, it brings to mind, we've been sinning since birth, and we're dirty and filthy. How come we're so lackadaisical in approaching the judgment seat?
Until I start getting closer to my Lord.
Amen.
And the closer that I get to Him by studying, by reading, by having my prayer time, the filthier I feel I am.
Right.
And so people are not taking time to do that, so they don't feel dirty. They don't feel sinful.
Laodicea. So it's basically perception.
Or I would say deception. If you don't have the Word, you can be manipulated by all things. If we don't study the Word, we have nothing to stand on or go by to help form us in our walk with the Lord. With our walk, we must understand that if we don't look in the Word and nourish ourselves, what happens? We starve.
Great point.
When we starve, we're willing to eat anything.
Anything, right.
So that's what the world is doing. It's starving from a lack of a spiritual relationship with their Father, and because they have that missing in their hearts, they're willing to take in any and everything to feel like they're accomplishing something.
Now, you said something that I want to touch on key when dealing with judgment. You said deception. Is it possible many of us are deceiving ourselves into thinking that we're okay? It's like you say, if we don't see how dirty and filthy we truly are, or like I heard one teacher say one time, if we don't perceive, we might see that we're sinful, but we don't see how deep that sin actually is inside of us. You know, we can see that we're dirty, but we just don't know how really dirty we really are. And so could we be deceiving ourselves and thinking that we're okay going into judgment?
As long as we don't keep coming to the Lord, that will continue to happen.
Great point. Great point. So basically the key is to spend time with the Father constantly.
Stay close, stay connected.
And I say is to not deceive ourselves. Keep our eyes on how filthy we really are. I believe the closer you get to Christ, the more you'll see yourself fully and how dirty you truly are. No one wants to face the judgment seat of God. So I believe it's a blessing to know that when God sees us as we face that seat, if we're close to Christ, He won't see us, He'll see Christ.
Amen.
That's right. Amen.
I was out in the streets, and sometimes I even wandered back into the streets, but I realized I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And at any given time, because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, if something happened, it would be my fault, you know, because I knew better. And people out there, they know better, but they're having so much fun with it that they don't want to think about judgment. When you really get closer to God, you see how filthy you are. And you're supposed to see that, so you can change those little ways or ask God to come into your life. People are not ready for that and not thinking about judgment because they're thinking what they're doing is all right. As long as they, you know, say a little prayer every now and then, go to church on Sunday or whatever it may be that they're doing, they're still living a godless life.
Everybody is going to have to face God one way or another. Either they're going to rise up out of the grave or meet him in the air first, or they're going to they're going to come before the throne, and he's going to say, "Depart from me, you workers of iniquity, workers of sin, workers of shame, workers of total confusion." He's going to say, "Depart from me, I never knew you." Do you want to hear that? That's like a judge. You go in a court for a traffic ticket. He says, "I give you life in prison."
Loud cry!
All right. And remember now, the truth loves investigation. The truth loves investigation. Y'all have a blessed one.
I'm Marvin Lohman, and this is Loud Cry.
Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
You are with me through the fire, your shelter from the flame. You're my comfort in the chaos. I find peace in your name. In the middle of my trial, when the darkness closes in, I will look to the heavens. Oh, you are the hope that breaks the dark. You are the God who holds my heart. Nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your light. Hanging on to every word. You are the truth, the way, and I'm sure nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your light. You are the hope that breaks the dark. You are the God who holds my heart. Nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your light. Hanging on to every word. You are the truth, the way, and I'm sure nothing between earth